friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. Today I'm going to be doing the first in a small series about unhauling. I'm going to share with you my process of unhauling books and what do I do from step to step. Today I'm going to show you all the books that I've most recently culled from my shelves. And then over the next couple weeks I'm going to show you what the next steps are for me. So yes, these books are all coming off of my shelves, and then what? Then what do I do? I have like 6 different things that I do. First step today is unhauling them. So I'm gonna show you. I have quite a big pile here of books that I'm getting rid of. I love this. Every once in a while I go through my shelves and just take off books that at this moment in time, I don't think I'm going to read. I have over 500 books on my shelves that are unread. And ideally, I'd like to get that number down by a bit. I love being surrounded by books. I love being surrounded by books I haven't yet read, but sometimes I just need to limit that a little bit. And so today I have a little unhaul for you. I have sorted them into a couple different categories. This first stack that I have here is nonfiction. The first one is Lady Almina and The Real Downton Abbey, The Lost Legacy of Highclere Castle by the Countess of Carnarvon. I was in a Downton Abbey kick for a while there and grabbed this from a library book sale. Actually, most of these probably come from library book sales, to be honest. So it may look like I'm throwing away a lot of money, but ultimately I'm not throwing away that much. Either they were 50 cents or $1 or fill a bag for $5. So I'm not feeling bad about getting rid of them. So the first one, it's going. Another one that I have not yet read is The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down, A Hmong Child and Her American Doctors and the Collision of Two Cultures by Anne Fadiman. The next one is a Christian nonfiction, and it's More Than Enchanting, Breaking Through Barriers to Influence Your World by Jo Saxton. I did hear her speak at a conference and she's phenomenal. I just have had this on my shelves for so long and have other Christian nonfiction that I'm more interested in reading before this one. What Jane Austen Ate and Charles Dickens Knew, From Fox Hunting to Whist, The Facts of Daily Life in 19th Century England by Daniel Poole. This one was it was being hyped a little bit on BookTube, and so I purchased it and then never again had a desire to pick it up. The Soul of an Octopus, A Surprising Exploration into the Wonder of Consciousness by Cy Montgomery. I just don't think I'll read that. And then this last one I did read. I think I had 2 copies. The quality of this one just isn't as great as the other one that I have. That's The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, a fabulous memoir. So good. But I don't need 2 copies of it. This little pile is actually just 2 series. In talking about series on my channel lately, I have decided I'm not going to continue in these 2 series. So I'm getting rid of the ones that I have. The first is The Thursday Next series by Jasper Fforde. I have 5 of them. I believe there are at least 7 right now. I read The Airfare. I tried to read it in print, really couldn't get into it. Switched to audio and really enjoyed the audio. So if I do ever decide to continue with this series, I will listen to them and not read them. So I just decided I'm going to unhaul them because honestly, I have a lot of other series I'm much more eager to finish than this one. So I don't know the order of these, but I have The Airfare, Lost in a Good Book, With a Well of Lost Plots, Thursday Next, First Among Sequels, and Something Rotten. Just going to pass those along. And I started the 3rd book in this Ember in the Ashes trilogy on audio the other day and got about 45 minutes to an hour in and just didn't care one whit about it anymore. I really loved these 2 when I listened to them a couple years ago, An Ember in the Ashes and A Torch Against the Night. I think this is what the covers now look like. This is the old cover. So number 1, they don't match, which doesn't really matter to me, but I just don't think I'm going to continue this series anymore. The 3rd one is A Reaper at the Gates, and I believe there's a 4th one either out or coming out. I decided this is a YA fantasy series that I just don't need to continue. So goodbye. I do have a pile of some middle grade books that I'm going to get rid of. I just redid my middle grade shelf recently. You might have seen that in a vlog a week or so ago, and really like how my shelf looks right now. And as I was rearranging things, I decided this pile of books could make its way out. So I have Flights and Chimes and Mysterious Times by Emma Trevane. I feel like this is kind of a steampunk feel. I have Love, Stargirl. I am keeping Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli, but I don't remember loving the sequel. I have an extra copy of The One and Only Ivan. I do have 2 copies of this, so I don't need both of them. I love, 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 love this book, and Katherine Applegate is one of my favorite middle grade authors. This year for Middle Grade March, our group books was The Book of Boy by Catherine Gilbert Murdoch, and I enjoyed this book to a degree, but it definitely wasn't a big, huge hit with me, and I don't think that I'll ever reread it or share it with other people, really, so I'm gonna just let it go. And it has deckled edges, which I hate. That's not a reason to get rid of a book, but I don't like them. And House Without Walls is by Chin Young Russell. This is another book that was sent to me, and I don't think I'm gonna end up reading this one. And this one I think I'm gonna gift to a friend of mine. This is Kid Activists, True Tales of Childhood from Champions of Change. And it's about different activists, and like Malala Yousafzai, Alexander Hamilton, Harvey Milk, Martin Luther King, Helen Keller, Nelson Mandela, Emma Watson, Frederick Douglass, and kind of some stories from their childhood, like maybe what in their childhood helped them to stand out as activists as they got older. So I'm thinking that this will be a really good gift for a friend of mine and her children. So she doesn't, I don't think, watch my channel. So surprise if you do, Leah, this is coming your way, but it's gonna go off of my shelves. This next stack are from my Fiction Guild shelf. These were all sent to me by the Fiction Guild. I have a whole shelf in the other room where I film, it's always behind me, of books that were sent to me. These are all Christian fiction. I am gonna try to read a bunch of those within the next 6 to 8 months or so. I've been doing so poorly at keeping up with those, and I don't think that that's a program that they run anymore. I haven't received any books from them in quite a while, but these are just some that are at the bottom of my interest level. So the first is a YA duology, The Evaporation of Sophie Snow and Reclaiming Sophie Snow. I think this is a sci-fi fantasy-ish duology by Mary Weber. Letting those 2 go. I know nothing about these ones, so sorry I'm not giving you anything about them, but White as Silence, Red as Song by Alessandro Davenia. Has kind of a cool cover. This is another YA that I'm just not interested in. Ascension of Larks by Rachel Linden. Takes place in the Pacific Northwest. Deals with photography. I think this is kind of literary Christian fiction. And then these 2 are by the same author, David Rawlings. These are kind of like gift book size. I have The Baggage Handler and The Camera Never Lies. This one for sure is pretty allegorical, like the baggage that we carry with us. And I'm not sure about this one, but maybe all about perspective when you talk about photography and looking at life through a lens. An old camera will expose secrets no one wants developed. Yeah, just don't think that I'll get to those anytime soon. I do have a pile here of historical fiction, which seems odd for me to be getting rid of because that is the genre that I say is my favorite, but I have so much historical fiction on my shelves that I just think these ones are not going to be on my radar for quite a while. So I have this massive copy of New York by Edward Rutherford. I was intrigued by this when I picked it up, but honestly I'm not sure I'm ever going to get to it. I did grow up in New York and lived most of my life in New York, so I'm interested in that aspect of it, but not the city. I never lived in the city. I visited the city, but the next few are definitely World War II historical fiction, which I have so much of. But I have The Throwaway Children by Diney Costello, and I think this is about children who end up in Australia from England during the war, 1948. It does take place in both England and Australia, so it's a little post-World War II, not quite World War II. Alison Richmond has a couple different World War II books out. This one is The Garden of Letters. Takes place in Italy in 1943. And involves letters, which I do love, but I just don't think I'm going to get to that one. One that I've heard some mixed reviews about is The Aftermath by Rydian Brooke, and I was intrigued by this for a while, especially because it has an adaptation out now, but I do think that this one involves a bit of infidelity. Yeah, 2 families, 1 house, and love grown from hate. So I'm thinking this is probably not for me when it comes right down to it. An author that I've not read from, haven't heard that much about, this is The Glassblower of Murano by Farina Fiorado. Whew. Clearly it takes place in Italy, in Venice in 1681, and kind of talks about some glassblowing. I'm not really sure what that one is about, but I have so much historical fiction, I can't keep it all. And the same with this one. Barbara Mulch's The Housemaid's Daughter. This one, at the little blurb at the top says, if you loved The Help, then this is probably a book that you should read. I am not sure about that one either, but I just have to be ruthless sometimes, and there are so many books on my shelves that I really, really want to get to soon. Oh, you know what? I think I am. I'm adding more. As I sit here, I'm adding more. I have decided I'm going to pass along on my Daisy Goodwin books. I did read The Fortune Hunter before BookTube days, and I remember just thinking it was okay, but not anything fantastic. I ended up collecting Victoria and The American Heiress, also by Daisy Goodwin, but I think I'm just gonna let these go. I have so many other historical fiction women that I want to read from, so I'm gonna pass those along, especially because I just didn't care for The Fortune Hunter. I'm pretty pleased with the fact that that's 42 books that I'm getting rid of from my shelves. Only 3 of them I think I've already read. The rest are all on my to-read list on Goodreads, to owned TBR list. The next step for me is to scan all of these that are unread into my Goodreads, add them to a shelf that I've created called UNHAUL, and then from there I can completely delete them as a batch from my Goodreads, which is awesome because then I don't have to go through one by one by one. So that's what I'm gonna do next. Once they're all removed from Goodreads, the next step for me is to have a sale on Instagram. So I'm just gonna tell you that that's gonna be happening sometime this weekend. So either Saturday or Sunday, you will see all of these for sale on Instagram. Keep your eyes out for that if any of them piqued your interest. I try to keep it pretty reasonable. I include shipping in the cost, but if you're not following me on Instagram, my link for that is down in the description box below. I will have another video coming up soon that will show you some of that process of Instagram and also what comes next with what doesn't sell on Instagram. What do I do with those next? I will share that with you in another video coming up very soon. I would love to chat with you in the comments below. How do you feel about unhauling? How do you feel about having a lot of books in your house? Don't try to convince me to keep any of these. I've already decided they're gonna be gone. So, I mean, you can try to convince me or say that you loved them or say, yeah, good job getting rid of that one. I didn't like it. That's what I want to hear too. But other than that, that's it for today. Let's chat in the comments below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will be talking to you in another video very soon. Bye.